So today's an exciting day because I finally have the last piece to the puzzle for the S13, which is the half shafts or axle shafts from Villain's Drift that allow me to use 350Z axles that I have right here. So basically what it is, it's the half shafts from an R200 S13 or S14 diff that have been modified in such a way that you have a 350Z axle flange to use. So yes, I still will be using the stock welded diff, but from what I've read online, they are good up to 500 horsepower, which is probably the upper limits of what it will be seeing. But according to a bunch of my friends, this is a pretty good alternative to spending thousands of dollars on an upgraded diff or even beefier axles from like drive shaft shop. But as soon as we get all this stuff in, we will be good to at least move it out of the garage and maybe take it for a spin down the road. But in other news, I did manage to get my GK Tech sway bar in. It's nice because the WiseFab V2 kit, the lower control arm has a little bolt hole for a sway bar, and luckily GK Tech makes a high angle or high clearance sway bar that follows the arch of the control arm to give you plenty of clearance. But I still am running into issues as far as fender and wheel clearance, so I did go ahead and remove the side skirt, which is nice to know that I don't have any rust or any major damage. It's just a little bit dirty. And for the time being, until I find out what body kit I'm going to go with, because it is a pretty difficult decision, I'm going to remove the fender, because when I do turn the wheel, I do rub up against the back side of the fender right there, and on the front side actually. But for now, let's go ahead and get this axle stuff in. Okay, so a lot has happened in the last couple of days. I realized that when I was installing the 350Z axles that I couldn't reuse the bolt that held the 240 axles in place. So I had to order some new hardware. Luckily, that came in earlier today. I got it all in, and I also ripped off the front fenders, bumper, side skirts, and basically everything that made this car look like a 180 SX. Outside of course, the 326 wing. Oh boy, and I'm sorry. This lens keeps fogging up because it's just got done raining here. And the humidity is killing me right now, and the camera. But I had to rip off the fenders because I was butting up against the rear part of it right here whenever I would go to any amount of lock. Now, because everything is still up in the air as far as what body kit I'm going to be going with, although I would like to stay 180 SX, I still don't know what I'm going to do in terms of fenders and stuff. But I've been hustling with trying to get this thing back together because tomorrow morning I have a tune set up down in Daytona to get this thing off of its base map that it's on right now. Yes, it might not look the prettiest, but right now all I care about is getting it running perfectly. Let's see, little things that I've done past couple days. I did mess with the alignment a little bit with some toe plates. I'm sure it's still all out of whack and will need to be fine-tuned, especially in the rear, because I think I have a little bit of positive camber and a little bit of maybe toe out. But that will all get addressed in due time. What I did do though is put the dash back in. I still will have to figure out what I'm gonna do with all of this wiring. I know I want to tuck it all underneath there, but for now I just need to get it at least running and moving so I can get the tune tomorrow. And because this thing has not moved under its own power in who knows how long, today's the day that she'll finally be moved. At least out of the garage into the driveway and then back in so I can put it in straight and then maybe mess with it a little bit more. But all I know is that when I moved the cars around in the driveway so I could at least make space to pull the 240 out, I managed to get the FRS stuck in that ditch over there. So I'll have friends come over and help me pull that sucker out. But for now, let's go ahead, start up the 240, roll her out of the garage, and hope that nothing blows up. So I am kind of struggling driving this thing. The clutch, I think, might need a little bit of adjustment, which hopefully I will have addressed before tomorrow's tune. But it is pretty refreshing to see this thing outside of the garage now. Although, you know, I didn't get to move it much, and although it's really ugly, you know, progress is progress. Well, now I'm having an issue with shifting the frickin' transmission into reverse. I am using a reverse lockout spring that I bought from RDE. Something I found on the internet because I'm not using the solenoid for the reverse lockout, and because it's really easy to power shift from, what, 4th to 5th, and possibly from 4th to reverse, I needed that reverse lockout. And it seems to be giving me some issues right now. Well, I got the S13 back in the garage, and I am kind of a little bit down in the dumps now because I went through, I put the S13 on jack stands so I could be able to get up underneath and look at the transmission to see if maybe my reverse lockout is actually doing its job, and yes, it does appear to, but now I believe that the car is stuck in reverse. I have plenty of play in the shifter here, and it sounds like it goes into each gear just fine. But when I go to start it and let off the clutch, all you see is the rear tires just go in reverse. And then if I go to put the car into an actual gear, because it is sitting in neutral when I go to start it, the transmission sounds like it just binds up and the car just stalls. So whoop-de-doo. You take one step forward and 5 steps backwards. So yeah, this just sucks. It's part of the game, I guess. And if this can be any decent explanation for why I haven't really been posting many videos in the past couple of weeks, it's basically because of things like this. It's all of these little setbacks that over time just accumulate. And of course I'm not gonna make videos on every single problem and issue that I run into, especially when, you know, I get hung up for 1 to 2 days waiting on a part to deliver. Those type of videos to me aren't that entertaining. Maybe you guys find some entertainment out of them, but they're just, I don't want to post boring videos. And now that I'm running into this issue, who knows how long it's gonna take me to actually figure out what the heck is wrong. And I hate to say it, but who wants to watch a video on me struggling with this transmission? I'd rather be able to fix it and get back out drifting. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for putting up with all this crap that I've been dealing with, and maybe one day we'll be out back and drifting in the S13. But for now, I gotta get that transmission out and figure out what the heck's going on. And with that said, enough of me talking. See you guys next time. Peace.